Okay, so during proximity, we had the question come up by one of our members. Excellent question.
Yeah.
So what about, Daryl, when a meeting doesn't necessarily have to be a meeting? Like, how do you determine that?
Right. Like this meeting should have been an email.
Right.
Or the opposite problem.
Mm-hmm.
Why have we been emailing or texting about this issue for the last 3 days?
Right.
When we could just get together face to face, solve the problem in 10 minutes and be done
with it. Right. Right.
So there's two sides of this coin that we need to deal with. So how do we approach this? Well, the first thing we kind of need to determine is what qualifies for a meeting.
Right.
You know, what warrants a meeting or not having a meeting, and that's kind of a complicated issue. Really,
Right.
There's a lot of variables involved, but it kind of boils down to just asking a question, and that is this going to be better?
Yeah, it's really about strategy, right?
Yeah. Is it going to be better or faster if we have a meeting? Okay. Is this going to increase the quality, or is this going to be better for our success, or is it going to get the task done faster if we just have a meeting? Or the opposite, if we don't have a meeting about it. So the key to this really is just asking the question, being conscious of this question,
Right.
and answering this question for
Yeah.
ourselves.
So in the preparation phase of this, when we're trying to come up with this meeting that I need to have, or we think we need to have, asking yourself this question all the way through, okay, what's the best way to get to the best solution? And I think we say it like that because, oftentimes it's super easy for a leader to make a decision, but you won't get team buy-in if you don't include them in the solution.
Right.
So you end up alienating really important people and maybe not getting to the best conclusion or solution because you haven't had all their input.
Yeah.
However, some things do just need you to make a decision. People don't need to be a part of it. And so why hash it out for a long period of time and waste all that time and all your, spend money, all your employees working on this one problem when they could be doing something else.
Right. So use the preparation process to answer this question for yourself. Okay, you can sort of work through this at each level and make this final decision whether it needs to be a meeting or not during any stage of the preparation. So what is the purpose of this meeting? And maybe that's going to tell you immediately.
Yeah.
Oh, you know what? This is the purpose. We don't need to have a meeting for this. I just need to inform this person about this decision that I made. Well, we don't need a meeting for that because the purpose is very simple and very easy to do and quick.
Right.
So you don't need it. But a lot of times that's not going to be enough to know.
Right.
So you're going to consider, well, what's your agenda? We've got these items that we need to take care of in the meeting. That might work better as a meeting. Maybe maybe not. Still not sure. Maybe the timeline is going to tell you. Once you decide the agenda and the purpose and you realize, the timeline for this, it's probably only like 5 minutes. Oh, you know what? Maybe that doesn't need to be a meeting.
Right.
It's only going to take 5 minutes. Maybe it doesn't need to be a meeting.
Right.
Maybe it still does, but the timeline might help you decide that. So at any point along the way, the relevant participants that are going to be in the meeting, but any way you deal with it then, once you make this decision, you need to check your attitude. Right, because we're going to deal with, like you said, we're going to deal with informing people whether this is a meeting or not. So there's good ways to do that and bad ways to do that.
And probably if you're in charge of the meeting and you're developing the meeting, you're probably primarily the one determining like who needs to be there. But sometimes when leaders don't do that and you're a participant, but you realize that there's the relevance doesn't apply to you. Well, when you go to tell them that, hey, do I really need to be in this? Because you should ask because they may have extra information that you don't know.
Right.
They're like, well, I want you there because of this. Okay, but ask in a way, checking your attitude, like, is this something I have these things I need to do? Is it important for me to be at this meeting?
Right. So inquire with that right
Yeah.
attitude, aiming for the success of the meeting. You know, when everyone aims for the success of a meeting, then you can get through the hard things okay.
Yeah.
And it's accepted well. So that's what we can do about determining whether something needs to be a meeting or not, and dealing with that when that issue comes up. Because a lot of meetings don't need to be meetings.
Right. And we can save a lot of pain and suffering by just having the meetings that we need to have.
That's right.